Hello and a very good day to everyone. Welcome to our forum about the language policy in China. I'm the moderator today, Jing Yiming. We also have two speakers, Zhu Yunfei and Zhang Jiaqi. As we know that China is a huge country with multi-ethnic groups, we have a considerable amount of languages and characters. So for first, I want to ask about the language situation in China related to diversity, like how many minority languages are spoken and how are the languages categorized?
Okay, thank you, Yiming's question. Actually, in my opinion, I hold the view that in today's China, minorities' language are considered a precious heritage and are said to need to be learned, developed, and preserved. And as China is a multi-ethnic country, there is naturally a wide varieties of language and dialect. So, not everyone in China speaks Chinese, and most ethnic minorities speak their own language. Minority language consists of hundreds of local dialects, many of which are not mutually intelligible, but their right to use them is protected by national language laws. The number of languages spoken by China's 56 ethnic group is 130, and the number of scripts is around 30, which together create a complex bilingual or multilingual situations. So, 5 language families like Sino-Tibetan, Altic, South Island, South Asia, and Indo-Europe are officially recognized in China. But in the complex context of multiple dialects and minority language working together, the exact number of languages spoken in China varies from one source to another.
Yes, language is the most important means by which human beings pass on their civilization, and linguistic diversity is an important feature of human civilization. Each language contains the unique culture and wisdom of a people. China is a unified new national state with many different languages spoken by ethnic minorities. 55 ethnic minorities speak more than 80 languages, and all of 53 of them, except the Hui and the Manchu, have their own languages. Under the long period of reactionary rule in the past, the languages of China's ethnic minorities were brutally oppressed, restricted, and banned by the reactionary ruling class, and the political, economic, and cultural situation of China's ethnic minorities has remained relatively backward for a long time. However, after the founding of the People's Republic of China, the system of ethnic oppression was abolished, and a new era of ethnic equality and unity was ushered in after the founding of New China. Great importance was attached to the protecting, transmission, and the development of minority languages in order to vigorously promote and safeguard the use and the development of their own languages and the scripts. The principle of equality among all ethnic groups were upheld. Language legislation were strengthened, and all ethnic groups were guaranteed the freedom to use and develop their own languages and scripts.
Okay, great answers. So the language policy relating ethnic groups have its development and accords with the situation in China. So it protects the unity of the country and maintains the national harmony. So now, what is the linguistic landscape in China, like in terms of the relationship between Chinese dialects and the national languages? And how does the diversity of language Chinese dialects contribute to the richness of Chinese culture? Additionally, what practical value does the study of Chinese dialect hold for social linguistics at both domestic and international levels?
Actually, there are currently 29 state recognized script among China's 55 ethnic minorities, including Mongolian, Tibetan, and Uyghur, and some ethnic group with only one language but no script, such as the Bai, have developed different script schemas. Some ethnic groups use several of their own language at the same time. For example, the Tibetan use nearly 15 languages. Chinese dialects are closely linked to national language, and at the individual levels, these connections manifest itself in two-tier linguistic situations, like being fluent in both Mandarin and their national language or dialect. The two-tier language situations of use borrowing Mandarin and dialect, or two or even more dialects in language life has become the basic pattern of the language situation in China. Addition to that, it should be noticed that dialects are an integral part of the Chinese language and that their diversity emphasizes the richness of Chinese culture. The study of Chinese dialects has an important practical value for social linguistics both home and abroad.
Okay, good. So, how does China approach the language of instruction in its educational system, and particularly with regards to ethnic minorities? Like, what efforts are made to preserve and promote ethnic minority languages in various forms of media, such as broadcasting, film, television, and print publication? And furthermore, how does Chinese legislation support linguistic equality by encouraging the use of multiple languages in teaching and media, but also emphasizing the importance of Mandarin?
Actually, the language of instruction is an important part of Chinese linguistics. China has been practicing multilingualism in education. And for the ethnic minorities, it's also important to learn Mandarin while returning the minority language and to build on this with a foreign language. So, generally speaking, Chinese people are taught trilingual or quasi-trilingual from an early age. In China, even dialect or minority language such as Tibetan, Mongolian, or Uyghur are allowed to be used as a language of instruction. So, moreover, 16 ethnic languages are broadcasting in China, including Tibetan, Mongolian, and Uyghur. Many ethnic autonomous regions have also create ethnic language films and television productions facilities and produce a large number of ethnic language films and television productions every year. So, and at the same time, a large number of publications in ethnic minority language have been published and are available through their print mediums in order to preserve the language and the cultures of their ethnic group. So, and according to 2017 date, there are 1,140 folk language websites in China, of which 12 languages are in use. So, in summary, the language situations in China is dominated by Mandarin and standard Chinese characters, with dialect, minority language, and even foreign language in use. Also, Chinese legislation promotes linguistic equality and will vigorously promote Mandarin. It has not forgotten to protect and develop local dialect and the language of various ethnic minorities, promoting the simultaneous use of multiple languages in teaching and the media.
Alright, now I would like to know more about the minority language policies. So based on Yunfei's answer, what level of autonomy do ethnic autonomous regions in China have regarding the use and development of languages and scripts? How does the government's legislation protect and uphold the linguistic rights of ethnic minorities in these regions? Furthermore, what policies and previous are in place to support multilingualism and education in ethnic minority languages, as outlined in the key government documents?
Yeah, good questions. Ethnic autonomous regions in China have a high degree of autonomy, including autonomy in the use of languages and scripts. Therefore, their languages are used and developed relatively freely. Minority languages are commonly used in ethnic autonomous regions. Secondly, the government has enacted laws to protect the languages of these autonomous regions, reflecting the moderate importance and respect given to the ethnic languages. In addition to the Constitution, there are many other government documents that uphold the linguistic rights of China's ethnic minorities. The Law of the People's Republic of China on Regional Ethnic Autonomy, published in 1984, is considered the basic law regulating the rights of China's ethnic minorities. It emphasizes and guarantees the public function of ethnic minority languages, and also provides that in the performance of their duties, the organs of self-government in ethnic autonomous areas shall, in accordance with the autonomous, if in the performance of their duties they use several languages and scripts in common use at the same time, they may use the language and the script of the ethnic group, protecting regional autonomy. The law on regional national autonomy also provides that the organs of self-government of the national autonomous areas shall educate and encourage address of the various nationalities to learn each other's languages and scripts. In China, the governments of ethnic autonomous areas have been implementing a policy of multilingualism in terms of language and education. The document Decision on Depending Reform and Accelerating the Development of Ethnic Education, issued in 2002, stipulates that the right of the ethnic minorities to receive education in their own languages should be respected and guaranteed, and the construction of ethnic language teaching materials should be strengthened. Of the 55 ethnic minorities, the majority of the inhabitants of the Hui and the Manchu ethnic groups have switched to Chinese, while the remaining 53 ethnic groups have their own languages. The languages of these autonomous regions are known as ethnic autonomous languages and include Mongolian, Zhuang, Tibetan, and Uyghur.
Okay, so Jiaqi mentioned the policies precisely. The answers are very comprehensive. So the following I would like to ask Yunfei, what are the fundamental principles of China's minority language policy as reflected in the laws and language legislation? How does the policy uphold the linguistic rights of ethnic minorities, while also promoting the use of Mandarin and standardized Chinese characters? Additionally, what are the objectives of China's language policy, and how do they aim to foster harmonious language coexistence while meeting the diverse language needs of society and individuals?
Okay. As Jiaqi mentions, mentions laws and language legislations clearly and reflects the majority language policy. All nationalities are equal in terms of language and script, and all nationalities are free to use and develop their own language and script. In ethnic autonomous area and in area where ethnic minorities live together. Both the national language and the local minority language and script may be used. So it cannot be seen that China's policy on minority language and language commonly used in the country consists of two basic positions. The first one is the Chinese government recognizes and protects the linguistic right of ethnic minority and emphasizes the linguistic freedom of all ethnic minorities in China. The second one is the government supports and promotes the use of Mandarin, facilitates communication between people of different nationality and encouraged all Chinese people to learn Mandarin. At the same time, the state vigorously promotes standardized Chinese characters as well as Hanyu pinyin. Therefore, the objective of China's language policy are to give full place to the functions of language and to meet the language needs of society and the individual, to reduce language contradiction and language conflict, and to build a harmonious language life.
Okay, thank you, Yunzi. The development of minority languages are also advocated. It is a good phenomenon that every language preserves its prosperity without interfering the dominant role of Chinese official language, which is Mandarin. Why is language and writing work important for ethnic minorities? And how does this relate to the stability and the unity of ethnic areas? What role does language harmony play in promoting social harmony and equality among ethnic groups? Furthermore, how does China's language policy, which represents the right to use and transmit the languages of ethnic minorities, contribute to the cultural diversity and the unity of the Chinese people?
Yeah, the language and writing work of ethnic minorities is an important part of ethnic work and involves the stability and unity of ethnic areas. Language harmony is subordinate to the social harmony. Language harmony means that all ethnic groups live in harmony and treat each other equally, which means that there is a basis for equality between ethnic groups. Conversely, discrimination against minority languages and scripts indicates that the language and culture of the minority are not harmonious, that interactions between ethnic groups are not normal, and that national unity cannot be achieved in ethnic group areas. Many countries and regions around the world have been the scene of conflicts over languages and scripts that have led to war or divided countries.
Exactly. By now, the language policies of the ethnic minorities also had a significant impact on their country, with more than 18 languages spoken by the various ethnic groups that make up China's rich and varied linguistic spectrum and enrich the country's cultural diversity. As far as language policy is concerned, respect for the right to use and transmit the language of the various ethnic minorities is one of the bases for ensuring that they are part of a pluralistic society. And thus, pluralities of language also promotes equality and solidarity between the various ethnic minorities and with the Han Chinese, thus preserving the plurality of the Chinese people. On the other hand, for reducing the sense of fragmentation of ethnic minority and enhancing their sense of national identity. Because of the backwaters of Chinese education in some regions, some minority people who cannot read Chinese inevitably have the illusion that they are different. which strengthens their sense of fragmentation and weakens their sense of mutual identity in all regions. The common culture is a constant bond. No matter how many diverted voices there have been in China for 5,000 years, and how serious their division have been, the common language and culture is an important reason for their unity. Therefore, the purpose of preserving minority language is to protect minority cultures. There are many ethnic groups in China, and the minority language carries their history, culture, custom, and traditions. So, minority language are an important part of China's culture, and they are a testimony to their cultural development and historical progress of minority regions, and a treasure of Chinese ethnic culture.
Oh yes, I agree. So the language harmony is an essential issue that a country should not neglect. It relates to social harmony, national harmony, and national unity. So how has the language policy of ethnic minorities influenced China, particularly in terms of the diverse linguistic spectrum and cultural richness created by over 80 different languages? What roles does the respect for the right to use and transmit ethnic minority language play in fostering in pluralistic society, promoting the equality and solidarity among ethnic groups, and preserving the diverse identity of the Chinese people?
Yeah, minority languages are an important part of China's cultures. More importantly, minority languages are a very important marker that distinguishes the ethnic group from other ethnic groups. And minority languages often have only sounds but no words, so they can only be passed on orally and are more likely to be lost in the process of civilization. It is the diversity of minority cultures that makes China's culture so rich and colorful. Therefore, minority languages are important, and it is even more important to protect minority languages from being lost in order to preserve and pass on ethnic cultures. Minority language is a living fossil of culture because it is an organic part of national culture as a kind of national culture. And the more inclusive the culture is, the more it can show us charm.
Okay, thank you, the two speakers, for providing us with great answers. The strength of the language policy is quite obvious, and those positively affect people in China and effectively improve the status of each languages. So China has always adhered to the principle of linguistic equality of all ethnic groups and advocated that all ethnic minorities learn each other's languages. So all of which are the ethnic languages policies that should be adhered in the long term. The language policies changes according to time and national situations, so this policy remained for such a long time and really effectively enhanced the unity of the People's Republic of China. This complexity of China's society increased its difficulty in carrying out the policy, put it into real practice, and make executions. But from your answers, I've seen that the progress and achievement from the policy that China have made. So the development according to time and so on. So thank you again for the two speakers, and that is from us. And thank you for attending the forum. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.